Hey gang, before we begin today's Habit Hack Thursday, I'm continuing with this food series. I wanted to share with you really quick a testimony from Christina, one of my Whole 30 clients. And I'm just so proud of her and the life-changing habits she has established and what she learned about herself just by changing what she put on her plate and being super intentional with learning about, oh, maybe I was craving this because of that. And wow, look at this, look at that. How can I have long food freedom, considering that Whole 30 is 30 days for a reason, and it is a lifestyle, not necessarily a diet, and a way for you to find what is worth it to you or not. So take a listen into Christina's Whole 30 story, and remember, you can get 25% off of my Whole 30 Anytime course and my other courses now through the end of today, 6:30, with the code Summer Sale.
So, starting off, I've tried every single diet in the book, including keto. My husband and I did keto for about 7 months, so I thought, hey, I could do this pretty easily. I've done something similar, but what Whole 30 does is different, is you really learn to focus more about what you're eating, and more of like the sugars that I didn't realize how much sugars I was taking in. Also, I really thought that I ate somewhat healthy. We don't really go out to eat very often. I don't really like fried food or anything like that, but just my portion sizes and just I would eat like some toast or I would have like a little ice cream after dinner, and really that like just was eye-opening to me, is just seeing kind of how much I was eating versus what my reality actually versus what I was thinking I was eating. And then also the biggest thing is caffeine too, is I told myself, lied to myself, said I'm not a big caffeine drinker. Like, I'll have a Diet Coke maybe for dinner. But then doing this really helped me open my eyes, see like, well, yeah, I had a Diet Coke for dinner, but I craved it at dinner. And then I also had Diet Coke multiple times during the weekends. And like anytime we went out, I would have a Diet Coke or a couple of Diet Cokes. So that was like a huge game changer for me. I loved Whole 30. It was super hard. It was the hardest thing that I thought I'd done in a while. Just because I was mentally prepared for it. I'd done keto, but I just didn't realize how hard it was going to be. I didn't have anyone doing it with me, so I did it by myself, except for you to help me with my questions. But out of all these diets that I've done, like after you go off of them, you have this initial dive where you gain 5 pounds, or you gain it all back eventually. And it's been 2 months now, and I haven't gained a single thing back. I've kept some of those habits. Now, granted, I have started bringing some back that I need to like take back again and be more cognitive of again. But I'm glad that I haven't gained any of that back, that I still have that in my head of what I need to do and what I can do. I had hit a huge plateau. I had lost like 30 pounds and then hadn't lost anything for like 3 years. And so this kind of helped me jumpstart it back up again and see what I needed to do. So some of my non-scale victories was my face clearing. I had a couple people say, oh, wow, your face looks really glowy and stuff like that. So that was good. I usually get a decent amount of sleep, so I didn't really see anything changes there. And I was a little more tired than what I normally was. I never really got that true, like, tiger's blood, but I think maybe if I would have kept on with it, but I was honestly done. But maybe in the next round, keep on with it, and I'll have that more energy. But the non-scale victories is just more of like me and my focus on food and what I'm eating, and how to continue it going forward. So that was super exciting. And scale victories, I did lose like 16 and was able to keep it off. So anyway, hope this helps you, and I want to thank you so much for being there for me.
Hey friend, welcome to Self Transformed, a podcast dedicated to transforming your health in less time and guilt-free through the power of habit hacking. I'm your host, Emily Nichols, behavior change specialist, fitness and Whole30 coach, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I know the struggle is real when it comes to taking care of you. I too am a working mom who felt physically and emotionally drained, but lacked the time and confidence to actually make myself a priority. Creating habit strategies around my health was the key to help me finally create a consistent, healthy lifestyle that doesn't feel hard. I'm now on a mission to equip you with those same sustainable habit hacks to help transform your life from the inside out, guilt-free. Together, we will simplify your health into daily habits that don't feel like another thing on your long to-do list, but rather consistent actions that add up to a massive transformation that will stick through all seasons of your life. So if you're ready to habit hack your health and create your own self-transformation, then let's do this. Hey gang, welcome to Habit Hack Thursday. I hope you don't mind the birds chirping in the background or maybe a dog barking at some point. I was just recording my July episode for my society members. If you don't know, I have a monthly membership program called the Habit Hacking Society, and part of that membership program is they get a monthly private podcast from me, and I was recording it outside. It's so lovely out today, and today's my podcast recording day, so you are getting an outdoor episode with me as well. So I hope you are getting lots of vitamin D, getting outside, enjoying the sunshine. I might go for a walk after this. It's so good for the soul and physically as well. We could all use more vitamin D, especially if you're living in the Midwest, for sure. So a couple of things before we get into today's Habit Hack Thursday tip for you. The summer sale is still going on, but today, Thursday, June 30th, is the very last day to save 25% off of any of my courses. So that includes my mini course, the Habits That Stick Starter Kit, where I will loop you in with my 3-step habit strategy to help you start creating new habits and making them stick in your life without it feeling very overwhelming. My signature program, Self Transform You, which today is the last day to enroll for STU Next Level. If you are wanting to do the one-on-one accountability coaching option, I only take a few girls for that every month, but you can get STU, the course, at any time and go through my signature 4-week program. Pretty much what you do is you build a customized health plan for you based off of habit strategy. It is super simple. It won't take you a lot of time. I know when I buy a course, I'm like, okay, how long is this going to take me? And literally like 30, 45 minutes each week to help develop this plan for you. And I will be giving you homework to help you keep that momentum going. And then lastly, my Whole30 Anytime course. This is like my OG course I ever created. This first one I ever created, because Whole30 really changed my life. And that was one of the first certifications I got after group fitness certs to become a Whole30 certified coach. And I actually just got my plant-based Whole30 certification earlier this year as well. And this is a 30-day virtual course with me as your accountability coach, helping you with 30 plus videos for every single day of the Whole30, giving you tips and tricks, tons of downloads to help you have some more resources other than just what you would get in the Whole30 book, but something as easy as a habit tracker, self-care checklist, food freedom tips, and of course, a lot of reintroduction help. So check it out. You can use the code SUMMERSALE at checkout. It's all linked in the show notes for you. And you can also just go to selftransformu.com. That will link you to all of my courses on my website as well. But use the code SUMMERSALE, all one word, no spaces, for 25% off now through tonight at midnight Eastern. After that, the sale is gone. If you've been waiting for a sign to start your own transformation, this is it. Save you a little bit of extra money. I know it's scary sometimes investing in yourself. I made this super affordable. And if I were you, if I was starting where at the beginning of my transformation. Again, I would definitely start with Self Transform You because that's going to give you the biggest wins, and the Habits That Stick starter kit is included within that. So it'll give you a big comprehensive program. A lot of girls that do STU do go on to do the Whole 30 Anytime course as well. Okay. Let's continue our food series today. We've been talking over the past week and a half. We'll talk next week as well, all about food. We haven't talked about food in a while. We do talk about this, of course, in STU. And, when we're creating habits, with any kind of habits, even around mealtime and food, sometimes, you can get into a rut. Sometimes I get into a rut and I need to change my workouts or like the way my schedule is flowing, especially when I'm going into a new season of life, or even when as my kids have gotten older and my jobs have changed as well, since I work for myself now and at Orange Theory. And we get bored. We get bored, and we need to mix it up, because when we get bored, a lot of times we get complacent and then we're not as intentional anymore. So, and this even applies to the food we eat. Like I said, we talk about this in STU in week 2 because I think it's super important. We go through my food freedom as a 3-step food freedom plan, and we go dig deeping into habit strategy around planning your meals to make it easier for you and intentional. That way you're fueling your body, but also eating the foods you love too. So I'm wondering if you ever get tired of eating the same things all the time. If that food boredom starts to happen. I think a lot of times this happens is because our schedules. When I'm really thinking about, okay, why don't I feel like I'm like bored with the food I'm eating? It's usually because I'm in a really busy season of life and I don't want to think about making like elaborate meals. It's really easy. Like my kids guarantee every Tuesday they're going to have a Taco Tuesday, but I'll get in a rut and I'll make turkey tacos every single Tuesday. And they're like, oh, it's not as exciting anymore. I could eat turkey tacos every Tuesday and personally, but we can always mix it up and make it a little spicier if you will. But, that also leads to you not being very intentional with your food. So maybe you're like, I don't feel like making this food tonight. I'm just going to eat a bowl of cereal. And that's okay every once in a while. But when you start to notice it's a pattern and it's leading into unhealthy habits for you, that's when it's time to sit back and talk about how to overcome food boredom. Many folks, the first time I ever heard about food boredom was actually during the Whole 30. About halfway through, you're creating these new meals. A lot of times they're new to you. And a lot of times about halfway through the Whole 30, you're like, bleh, if I have to eat any more cauliflower rice and sweet potatoes and eggs and chicken and this Tessie Mae's ranch sauce, I'm going to bleh, right? And so that happens a lot. And so we're going to talk about 5 tips to help you overcome food boredom here today, but also I'm going to have a habit hack for you at the end that's been a game changer for me. It's something I've learned being a Whole 30 certified coach and learning from other folks in the Whole 30 community. So let's get into these 5 tips. Number 1, spice it up. Spice it up. Buy different seasonings, sauces, prepare things a little differently than what you normally would. I think sometimes we get bored and you can make the same thing. So maybe you're making chicken, like a stir fry, but this time you're going to add a curry sauce to it. You bought a jar of curry at the grocery store, and maybe this time you're going to add different seasonings that make it spicier, maybe make it sweeter, give it an Asian flair, maybe give it a Mexican flair. There's lots of different options to spice it up and to help you lose that boredom that happens so often. Next, let's talk about tip number 2. Let's think about shuffling up your meals. Like I mentioned, we always do Taco Tuesday in my house, but what if I did a Taco Friday? Or just switched up the days of the week you were having certain foods. Just that little tweak will allow you to lose some of the boredom around it, and especially if you're using those new spices too. Number 3, meal prep throughout the week. Freeze your meals, make it in bulk to have leftovers for later too. Okay. Hear me out. If you're maybe thinking, okay, I don't like to meal prep. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week, actually, and a couple of quick, easy tips to meal prep. But I like to meal prep throughout the week, just a little bit at a time. That allows me not to use a lot of brain power, which, as we know, we talk about a lot when we start new habits. That takes brain power. And even if it means just switching up our meals and our routines around the meals we create, that does take brain power, and we don't want to. We already have so many tabs open in our head, we can't open another one, right? So if you meal prep throughout the week, you have different pieces, elements of meals that you can put together. If you freeze them, I love freezing meals, like making them in bulk when I have the time. That way I can pull out something maybe I made in December and it's March. And I'm like, thank you, Emily, from the past for making this awesome soup. And I can reheat it and it doesn't take time and it is delicious. And it's something I wouldn't have made because I don't have the time right now because March is a busy time of year or month for me for some reason. But making them in bulk to have later is a great time saver. It doesn't allow you to have to use that brain power, but also, like I said, leftovers. Having a little extra to have the next day, but hear me out. If you're like, okay, that sounds like I'm going to be bored because I'm beginning eating the same thing, spice it up. If you have leftover chicken, make it into chicken tacos the next day, or make it into like a chicken salad, or make it into anything with chicken, a chicken stir fry for that matter. Something super easy that you can reuse it the next day and turn it into a new meal. Number 4. So this is fun. I like a big old bowl. I like a big bowl with a big old salad in it or any kind of meal. I think it's fun eating out of bowls. It changes it up. It allows me to scoop my food. I don't know why. Change up your plates. Eat on a different plate. That sounds silly, but it's just kind of a different little view for you will if you will with your food, to give you a different view and to change up the way you're always eating that on the same plates and utensils. But also try new kitchen gadgets. So if you have an air fryer, when I first got my air fryer, I was using it all the time. And then the novelty wore off and I hadn't been using it quite as much. I actually just got it out the past week and a half to use for lunches because I had leftover veggies that were like mushy. I didn't want to eat them that way. So I air fried them. They were crispy. They were delicious. I put like a yummy sauce on it over some rice and some eggs and it was so good. And it didn't take up a lot of that brain power, right? So use your slow cooker, use your air fryer, try an Instapot, try a new dicer or something to make your life a little easy. Try a smoothie, use your blender. Try some of these kitchen gadgets that you have that maybe you're not using quite often. And then lastly, your biggest habit hack for today when you are feeling food boredom is ingredient meals. It's kind of putting everything together that we just talked about. So this is something I learned from Stephanie Gorinke. She used to be part of the Whole30 community. She's been on the show before to talk about Whole30 and moms. They've talked about this a lot in the Whole30 community as well, as far as creating meals just based off ingredients you already have. So when we're creating an ingredient meal, here's how I think about it. I'm not going to tell you this from like a Whole30 perspective, like as a Whole30 meal. You can make this, with cauliflower rice, for example. I keep some frozen all the time in the freezer, or you could do just regular rice, have that in the bottom of your bowl. Okay, I have that in my pantry. I can easily make that. I have that in my freezer. Okay. All right, I need some frozen veggies. Oh, I already have some. I'm going to air fry them, crisp them up. Oh, okay, and then, I have some leftover chicken from yesterday, or I cooked some extra chicken the other day to be able to put into meals. Okay, I'm going to put some chicken on top. Oh, and now I'm going to add some avocado, some really yummy new primal seasoning, and maybe like a yummy like teriyaki sauce, and boom, you got a meal. So it's just a bunch of stuff put on top of one another. If you don't like food touching each other, this may be an issue for you. But it's an ingredient meal. You have all these things put together into a delicious meal, and it didn't take you a lot of brain power, and you're able to mix and match your proteins, your fats, your veggies, and your seasoning to create really creative meals to help you prevent that food boredom, but at the same time, not going to overwhelm you. Okay, I know mealtime can feel overwhelming, and creating meals for your families when you're super busy, it's hard. It's hard. If you got to go through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, I see you, girl. We usually do JJ's. We do some Jimmy John's, too. I love me a turkey tom with some avocado on it. But these 5 tips will really help you avoid that food boredom, to really help you simplify it and habit hack your way into losing that food boredom. And you can apply this towards anything in your life when it comes to your routines and habits starting to feel monotonous. They're not exciting anymore. That's what we actually covered the last week in Self-Transform You, my signature program. We talk about when you lose motivation, when you need to evaluate your habits and switch them up using the habit strategies that we teach in all of my programming. So I hope today's habit hack was super useful for you today. I am feeling hungry after talking about all this food. I need to go make myself an ingredient meal based on what I have already in my freezer and pantry. But gang, don't forget, today is the final day of the summer sale. I really feel like this is a sign that you and I are meant to work together, whether that be in STU, the Habit Set Stick Starter Kit, or my Whole30 Anytime course. So use the code SUMMERSALE at checkout for 25% off. I'm so excited for you to join me in one of these courses. My email and my DMs on Instagram, everything is linked for you in the show notes. They're always open if you have any questions for me at all. Okay, we're going to continue the food series next week. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. I'm going to go make me an ingredient meal, and I'll catch up with you next week. I'll see you then, friend. Hey girl, real quick before you go, if you want some free motivation texted to you every week from me to help you habit hack your health, send me your favorite emoji to 773-904-2157 and sign up for my weekly pump up text. I can't wait to catch up with you there. Hey, and if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can also find the show. Then you can even email me a screenshot of your review and I'll send you either a Starbucks gift card or give you a free habit hacking call with me live on the podcast. Love and appreciate you, friend. I'll see you next time.